And we are in the middle of this national identity crisis, Tucker, where we have celebrated our diversity and our differences for so long that we forgot all of the ways we're really just the same as Americans, bound by a common set of ideals that set this nation into motion 250 years ago. And that's why I'm proud to say tonight that I am running for United States president to revive those ideals in this country, those basic rules of the road.
That was Vivek Ramaswamy declaring his bid for the presidency. Vivek joins me now. Welcome back, Vivek. Good to see you again. So,
good to see you.
Bill Ackman, you know, he's a very well-known and very wealthy investor. He tweeted his support for you last week. He says you are going to win. You're off to a good start, Vivek.
We're off to a good start, but I think, Stuart, it's because I'm talking about the what and the why. I think that's what we need to focus on this year more than the question of the who. The question of the who, that's for 2024. But 2023 in this race ought to be about the agenda. What does the conservative movement stand for? What does the GOP stand for? What does this country stand for? And I'm all about reviving those basic ideals from merit to free speech to self-governance.
Okay.
Let's define that ideal, and then good things are going to happen.
So where do you stand in the GOP? If you've got Trump here and, say, just for example, Mitch McConnell here, where are you in between these two?
So I'm an unapologetic America First conservative. I do not apologize about that, but I think to put America first, we need to go further and rediscover what America is. It's what I call kind of America First 2.0. And so, you know what? I agree with a lot of President Trump's policies. I was a big fan of them at the time. I've said so many times over. Maybe a little less government spending, but put that to one side. I think the key point for me is revive an American national agenda. I mean, reject affirmative action. Get rid of this climate religion. Lead to this national revival at home that allows us to then stand up to the actual threats we face, like communist China. One of the things I've called for, Stuart, is, as you know, total independence from communist China. I think that's an objective, too.
But you want a meritocracy. You want the American meritocracy to be restored because you feel it's being degraded by wokeism. Is that an accurate reflection of where you're coming from?
It's spot on, Stuart. And this is personal to me. I mean, achievement was my personal ticket to get ahead in this country. As the kid of Indian immigrants who came to this country with almost no money, to be able to go in a single generation to found multi-billion-dollar biotech company and other enterprises in this country, that is the American dream. And I don't think my story would have been possible, not in the same way, even 20 years later had I been born, 2 decades after the moment when I was born. So I think we need to revive that ideal that binds us together. I think good things are then going to happen. But it's not going to be easy, Stuart. And that's part of why I'm doing this. I think running for president is the right way to revive merit, put it back in America. And by the way, I want to be very specific. That means ending affirmative action in every sphere of our lives. Not enough Republicans talk about that. I think president can actually deliver on that. That's one of the commitments I would make.
One last one, real fast, if I may. Is there any significance to the fact that 2 Republican candidates for the presidency, Nikki Haley and yourself, are of Indian heritage? Any significance?
To be really honest with you, no.
Right.
I think that I think it is reflective of the fact that I'm proud that there are first-generation Americans who can go on to achieve the kinds of things that Nikki has achieved, that I've achieved in a single generation. My views are very different from hers on a lot of different issues. I personally reject identity politics. I could care less what your skin color is, what your gender is, whether you kick with sneakers or whether you kick with heels. It doesn't matter to me. What I actually care about is what ideals does this country stand for? Let's talk more about that, less about our genetically inherited attributes. Frankly, I'm getting kind of weary of talking about genetically inherited attributes over the last 5 years. That's what we've obsessed over. Let's go back to talking about the ideals that bind us together.
Vivek Ramaswamy, presidential candidate on the Republican side. Thanks for joining us, Vivek. We wish you the best of luck, sir. Thank you.